Okay, my battery died on the last one, so we're going to back up just a little bit. Like I said, the only bad thing I saw in this entire car as far as rust goes was that one rust hole. What happened was, it looks like it was a patch that was done back in, let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, right there. A patch that was done back in, I'd say back in the 1970s. A little bit of rot around that. Like I said, it's how you can pull back the carpet, weld a new piece of floorboard in, and still drive the car around. Right now it seems sealed. That's the thing about it. It's been around, this car's been indoors since then. It is owned by an older guy. It was owned by, my understanding is owned by an older couple in Delta, Colorado. And then what happened was, I guess this guy ended up with it back in the 60s, did a few things to it, fixed it up just a little bit, drove it, and then parked it along with a few other of his cars that he has restored. And it's been sitting inside ever since. Now it's sitting outside. That's one of the reasons why I'm getting rid of it. If you look down here, like the well for the tire well, everything's in great shape. You got the T-drain holes, everything's in good shape. The exhaust is in decent shape. There's a exhaust pipe that runs under the motor that has a patched hole in it. I patched it just not too long ago. And it's one piece of pipe. The rest of it is pretty solid. Let's take a look at this front fender. Once again, all the trim is there. Hubcap's there. Seems to be in fairly decent shape. It could be shined up. Once again, a little bit of trim. And there's a little bit of paint splotches, like right there. A little bit of a paint splotch right here. Just different things like that. No cracks in the windshield. The windshield wipers work. If you look at this windshield over here, I'm not sure if the video will pick this up, but you can tell there's a couple rub marks from a bad windshield wiper from earlier. I'm not sure. That could be buffed out. Roof seems in pretty good shape. No dents, no hail damage, none of that. The one thing I noticed about this car is that when they painted it, I think they painted it in pieces because none of the body lines match up. Up through here, this is pretty tight. This is really loose. This right here just doesn't match up. This kind of pinches right here. As you can see, there's chipping right there. Same thing with that. You know, a little bit of a body gap there. Let's look at the body gaps. You can see that some of them are okay. Like I said, that just takes a real work of art to be able to match those up, and that's a little out of my skill set. Like I said, the trunk kind of matches up. It's a little recessed right here compared to the rest of the body. Same thing on this side. There's a couple rubber stops on the inside. They might be missing. Like I said, all the trim around the windows there. Once again, this door, I got to line it up so it's so it'll shut right. Like I said, it shut smoother before, but it just didn't shut all the way. I tried to adjust it. It just wasn't working out for me, and just can't seem to get it right. But let's take a look at the interior on this thing. The dash seems in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of chrome. Let's take a look in here. A little bit of chrome. The radio, the power gets to the radio. The light will shine on. It won't pick up any radio stations though. That's the thing about it. I don't hear any sounds. It doesn't have a clock. It has that little Oldsmobile emblem. The rear view mirror seems to be in pretty good shape. It doesn't seem cracked up. I'm sure these are aftermarket visors. They seem to be in pretty good shape. And they, maybe need a little tightening up. The headliner, let's take a look and scroll back. Here's the interior light. Seems to be in pretty good shape, except a little crack in the lens. The lens would need to be replaced, a little bit of buffing, and it probably doesn't work. I didn't take the light bulb out and check it or anything like that because I know I just destroyed that plastic getting it out, so I figured I'd just leave it. Haven't really had this too long to be able to go through all the gauges and everything. This pedometer seems to work. The volt amp meter seems to work. The parking brake seems to do pretty well. The pads on the pedals seem okay. There's a little bit of a crack around the back end of the one. You got the headlight switch. The headlight bright switch works. You got the turn signal like an aftermarket. I'm not sure if this is aftermarket or this is how they had it, but that does not seem to work. Different buttons and stuff like that. Everything. The chrome on here, it's just like a little bit of surface rest right here, a little spot right there. The ashtray seems to work pretty well. Has a locking glove box, never tried to lock it. It seems to latch pretty well. Steering wheel, it's right around here. Not sure if you can see it, it's starting to crack a little bit. Same thing with up here. Let's see if I can pull that in a little bit. It seems to be cracking just a little bit. Everything seems to shift okay on the transmission. It seems to hop a little bit when it shifts from first to second. I'm pretty sure it's because it's low in fluid. Like I said, it's, you know, probably has fluid from 1976. I haven't delved into it. I don't know too much about the hydromatics, and I just don't want to mess with it and make a mistake and tear it up. Has an original set of keys. That's actually a rarity. Let's see here. Let's take a look at the seats. I'm pretty sure the seats, I'm not sure if they're original or not. That's the thing about it. Everything seems to be okay. The molding seems to be okay. It's the carpeting. I know the carpeting is not original. As you can see, it's a custom made, but they did a pretty good job. Let's take a look at the back. Same thing, the carpeting, no big stains or anything like that. The seats, once again, seem to be in pretty good shape. You got a few lines here from me vacuuming, but you know, it's just vacuum lines. And if you look at the back of this, the ashtray seems in pretty good shape. Once again, we'll take a look at the back windows by the headliners. Everything seems to be all there in decent shape. Let's go ahead and pop the hood on this thing and see what the engine looks like. It's the original 303 rocket. Let me pop the hood here. A little stiff, it just probably needs welded up. As you can tell, remember that little pinch I was talking about, you can tell over here that this bolt right here is kind of pinching the inside of the fender and needs to be adjusted. Look inside, put a brand new 6-volt battery in it. It's still a 6-volt system. As you can tell, the wires are the original wires, so there's a few things to be replaced. If you look over at these wires here, everything still seems to work, but it seems to be that these wires are fraying just on the ends. The actual wires themselves throughout the rest of the car actually look pretty good. You get the voltmeter, and you know, you can go ahead and you can actually restore those or just buy a new one. It has an air cleaner I've never seen before, and a little tiny 1-barrel carburetor. Of all the ones I've seen, yeah, of all the 1950 Oldsmobile or 40 months Oldsmobile, I've never seen the intake like this. So, generator seems to be working fine. It seems to be putting out a lot of juice. It's in the plus 15 range on the amp meter. Same thing with the wiring over here. You can see it's frayed, but it seems to be still working. The heater hose, okay, when I got this, water's been sitting in the radiator for about 4 years, they say, about half full, because what they did was they disconnected the heater hoses, and when they disconnected the heater hoses, they went ahead and that's how they tried to drain it, so it could they said it wouldn't be stored with water in it. So the radiator sat half empty, so I ended up getting a new radiator for it, got a record, put new belts on it, new hoses, and I've also put on a water pump, so it has a brand new water pump as well. Carburetor seems to be in pretty good shape. Has all the original bowls and everything, even on the fuel pump. All the filters are new. You have a fuel pump down there. You got the carburetor bowl there also. All that's been taken care of. Has a new cap and rotor, new wires, new plugs, and of course an oil change. Has the original, it's kind of interesting here, has the original glass bottle brake reservoir. It has vacuum assist windshield wipers. That seemed to work pretty well. That's this tube right here. This is the gaggle of tubes. I just put it, you know, they disconnected everything, so I went ahead and pulled everything to the side, and when I filled it up with antifreeze, I just put a bypass tube. It just goes around. And it's so the heater core is set in. raincoat heater control. Not sure if this will pick that up or not. Yeah, right back there has a raincoat heater control. Like I said, everything seems to be in pretty good shape. Let's go ahead and start this thing up once. Thing actually starts up fairly well. Just turn the key. I usually just give it one pump and gas and hit the button. Starts right up. So let's okay, so now here's the thing, the engine runs pretty smooth, seems to have plenty of power. So I'm just give it a little bit of a shot here. That's one thing that should probably be said about this. The fuel in this thing is actually, I'd say, at least 4 years old. They put this fuel in when he ended up, when they used this car for his funeral procession. That's the last time this thing's actually been driven, other than me driving up and down the street. So it's actually 4-year-old fuel. It seems to actually be doing fairly well. I think it would run a lot better, of course, with newer fuel. Let's take a look at the trunk, actually, before I forget. Need to get the keys. Thing is, this trunk needs just a little bit of help. I'm gonna pick it up. The thing about this also, if it has the fabric on the bottom. Let's see if I can get the sun to shine away from here a little bit. As you can see around the edges, just dirt. Fabric's starting to fray a little bit. This is the original jack and lug wrench and the original pouch. Some original stickers on the back. This kind of gives you an idea what the original color was. It's pretty close to what's on it now. Seems to be no rust up in there. But now, when you look down underneath this padding, you can tell there's just a little bit of moisture that's stuck there a little bit, and it's starting to get a little bit of surface rust. It's not rusty, it can be wiped off. You just take a little, see, it's just wiped a little bit of that, let's see. Yeah, just wiped a little bit of that off there. Yeah, it's like I said, it's just something that just needs to be cleaned out. Probably get some new padding for it. That's a spare tire, another rim. Like I said, everything seems to be pretty solid all the way through here. Hope you can see it all. Springs are all good. And that should conclude everything on this Rocket 88. And like I said, I think it's a great car. I mean, I don't want to get rid of it. And it's just, I just don't have a place to keep it at. I just don't have a place to put it at. And all I know it's going to do is just sit here and rot if I keep a hold of it, because I have too many other projects. I just don't have any indoor storage or anything. So it's, like I said, if you have any other questions about this car, feel free to contact me. I'm on eBay there. Or you can contact me through this YouTube video. And like I said, it's for the most part. If you want pictures of anything else on this car that I didn't catch in this video, or the pictures that I posted, just go ahead and feel free to ask. I'll be happy to take any pictures that you want. And it's matter of fact, oh, that's what I was gonna say about the transmission. Okay, so all the fluids on this thing are probably from, most of the fluids I'd say, are probably from, I would say, the 70s, unless they give it an oil change back in the 80s when they did the funeral procession. Oh, no, excuse me, 4 years ago when they did the funeral procession. So the transmission fluid, like I said, you can just tell it's low. It will skip between, it will not skip, it'll jump. It won't slip, it just jumps. So it seems pretty tight otherwise. And everything's, like I said, seems to check pretty well. And let's go ahead and see how this thing works. Now, the one thing about this also, before I forget, the brakes. The brakes, the brakes need adjusted. Like I said, with just a little bit of work, this could be just a fun driving little car. And it's, like I said, it's one of those cars that you can sit around and you can drive it around, enjoy, like I said, and just have a good time with it. Sorry for prolonging this video like crazy. Once again, it's Hope I didn't waste too much of the minutes in your life, but like I said, it does run and drive. Everything works good in reverse and everything. Here's a reverse. Like I said, it has a couple little clunks and everything. It's just different things like, oh, let's see if I can get this. There we go. Oh, I got the park and brake on. Park and brake works. That's good. Like I said, this concludes the video. I hope you guys like what you see. Happy bidding. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks.